I'm Adrian Moran, the owner of Moran Hurleys and currently the manager of Longford Senior Hurlers. Yeah, so we're here in Whitehall today, just outside Castlepollard. This is my home basically. I was reared 400 yards up the road and hurled with a local club called Ringtown, which is about a mile and a half up the road. So that's where hurling started. Moved from there into hurling with the county and been hurling all my life basically until a couple of years ago till I retired. I only hurled once for senior for Westmeath. I was actually 16. Right. It was a very early introduction, but 6 weeks after I had a bad car accident and did a lot of damage to my left knee and never made it back onto the county squad until nearly 10 years later. I was called in when I was 27, but I had opened a pub in Mullingar at that time and just couldn't commit, so never got back on. Only once hurled against Antrim in a league match, so it was cut short. The love for hurling, I suppose, came from just being born into the area. And my grandfather was one of the gentlemen that I suppose restarted the local hurling club in the mid-70s, and he had a big part to play in that, and the family grew into it from there, I suppose. My dad is a Longford man from Legan, so there are lots of connections with Longford, which my mum was only a local here, so I suppose to answer the question, we just grew into it, and it's a massive community here in Ringtown, Whitehall, cool for the hurling community. Yeah, I'd definitely be in full favour of every county having their flagship team, like Longford, Leitrim, Cavan. A lot of work to be done on the ground, and this work has to be done by the clubs. And at the moment, I know in Longford there's another new club after starting out in Dramard. There's a club up and going in Keena for the last couple of years, but there's still clubs in trouble as well, like, you know. So there's an awful lot of work to be done to keep it alive and keep it going, but a lot of work to be done from our governing body in Crow Park, but probably the main bulk of the work has to be done on the ground with the clubs. The likes of what you're at yourself, Mick, you know, Longford TV, getting in, like I know a few weeks ago you had we had Dramard in playing at half time of our games. Those children only introduced to hurling 6-7 months ago, and you know, isn't it massive for them to see themselves on a TV, on YouTube at home? They can put it on the screen, and I think that's the way forward. It has to be, you know, I suppose hurling has to become sexy, for the want of a better word, and you know, it has to look good, and young lads have to want to aspire to be there. Yeah, look at the football, I suppose, from a spectator's point of view, hasn't been that attractive, I suppose, really, but like the hurling is just a completely different game. I think the more we leave it alone, the better it'll be. I don't think it needs that many changes at all. I think, you know, sometimes you can look into something and make these changes, and changes can be for the worse. Yeah. So I think best left alone. I actually worked in Longford as a schools coach back in 2015-16. I was approached by Leinster Council to step in for a couple of months. So that was my first introduction to Longford. Would know a lot of the lads in Longford because of the integration between the Longford clubs playing hurling at underage level in Westmeath here. So we would have played against, like I would have managed underage teams in Westmeath where we would have played against Slashers and Low Tones, and you know, so, and it's only across the border. The fact that my dad is a Longford man, it kind of made it very appealing. And look, I was approached, did an interview, and got the job, and very happy to get it. It was, you know, it's a proud moment that when you take an inter-county job, there's only 32 inter-county hurling jobs in Ireland, and thankfully I have one of them, you know. Back then, I suppose, would have changed a lot how our approach is now. You know, you're going in, you're raw to everything, and it's a big learning curve in a new county. You know, most counties have an awful lot more clubs, so the actual level of selection and the numbers required, it was tough going in that format. But we got up and going, and we had a good year. Actually, we were beaten in the league final, and we were beaten in the Lowry Maher final. But we've seen a bit of progression. But unfortunately, that year we lost 8 of the starting 15 for the next season due to emigration, a few lads retiring, and lads moving away for work. So year 2 was very, very tough. I think year 2 year 1 I had contacted over 68 or 69 players. We ended up with a panel of 24, and that includes your few permanent players as well. Last year, like, we had a very numerically weak panel. We had down to 23 on the Leinster's or the Lowry Maher semi-final, basically against Monaghan. So in those situations, like, you know, injuries can really kill you. And we've been really hampered with injuries for the last 4 to 5 weeks, which was very visible, I suppose, 2 weeks ago when we played Warwickshire in the league semi-final. We had only 19 guys dogged out. So like, you know, that's clubs aren't even at that level where they've 19 guys tagged up when they're playing a semi-final of a league or anything. So the numbers game is very, very tough. And you know, while some people mightn't agree with seeing players from outside the county coming in, that guys that are working in the county, guys that mums or dads or family relations are in the county, but for the sake of keeping hurling alive, for the guys that are in putting the shoulder to wheel, that are hurling with Longford, you know, progression has to happen, and you have to keep it alive. And at the moment, that seems to be the only way to do it. You know, it's a numbers game in Longford. Like, we had one club last year that didn't field in the first round of championship. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it's going to be a tough road ahead at club level. Our next competition is Lowry Maher. So by winning that, you know, you get promotion, and you're promoted to Nicky Record. If you can win the Nicky Record, you're promoted to the Christie Ring. If you're promoted in the Christie Ring and win it, you go to the Joe McDonough, and then the next step then is Liam McCarthy. So we're at the bottom of the food chain. Right. But in saying that, it's a day out in Croke Park. It's an All-Ireland final, and both management and players will take that as serious as your Limericks, your Kilkennys or anything. A day in Croke Park as a hurler, as management, as part of that setup is fantastic. It's a great place to be. It's focused because of commitment, and you know, you can't commit if you don't love it. And these guys do as much work as the guy in Westmeath, the guy in Limerick, the guy in Kilkenny. Don't get a lot of the plaudits for it. You know, like you're attending matches even at home in Pearse Park, 50 people in the stand, you know, sparsely scattered throughout, you know. Support is something we'd really, really love to see coming in behind the hurlers for the championship. Yeah, we've a couple of guys back this week doing a small bit of training, and over the next 2 weeks we'll hopefully be in a full complement for championship. I can't, I suppose, emphasise the importance of the panel. Yeah. And the numerical disadvantage of having a small panel. So every guy that gets injured is a problem. Yeah. And the least problems we have, the better we'll be, I suppose. And you know, that goes for a lot of you know, clubs, county teams that are struggling with numbers. You know, it's a fantastic game, and we're just hoping that if we can get to a Lowry Maher final, win it, that it'll show a bit of light again in Longford hurling, and it'll promote it even more. Very good.
And so what would you wish for at the end of this season?
Realistically, we have only one goal, and that's win the Lowry Maher.
Right.
That's our goal.
Right.
Yeah.
And that starts in a couple of weeks.
That starts in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, we're at home to Lancashire, right. Then we travel away to Warwickshire.
Right. And when you go to Warwickshire now, is there a buzz around that, or is it just like another trip down to a county here in Ireland, or is there a buzz associated with that? It's sort of very much an away game. Are there many supporters there? You know, what will it be like?
No, there's not much of a buzz about it. Like the guys know, it's travelling is tough. Yeah, because you have your flights to deal with, you're not sleeping in your own bed the night before, and you know, some people ask, do the hurlers get as much as the footballers? We're travelling over on the Saturday, we're up in a hotel on the Saturday night, play the game on Sunday and travel back home. We don't need any more than that. It's, you know, you're over there to play a game, you're not over there for a holiday. But the travel is tough, it's tough going. Supporters wise, there'll be zero support over there. There might be 3 or 4 people that might have family connection or whatever over in Warwickshire, or in Birmingham. So yeah, no, it's at home. The buzz is about home, playing in Pearse Park. You know, the lads love playing in Pearse Park, and it does be made very available to us even for training. So you know, it's a lovely stadium, it's well kept, and grounds are fantastic. It's a nice place to be hurling. It's just getting more support in. We really, really need the support. Yeah.
Adrian, well, thanks very much, Adrian, for that, and hopefully I'll be interviewing you at the end of the Lowry Maher Cup, interviewing you as winner, having played in Croke Park.
It's not hopefully, we'll be looking forward to it.
Very good. Right, Rory.